Hey, Sleuth Mom. Hey, Mama Bear. I know, Sleuth. I know. I didn't see that coming. I wasn't even gonna go live tonight, y'all, and then so much. It seems like so much happened today. I told you guys that I felt like this week there was gonna be some really big. Just I think we're like right at like the peak of a lot of cases. And hey, cool gamer. And I think we're going to start to see, different things. I have not even watched the press conference. So for anybody who doesn't know, hey, Punkette, who Jolissa Fuentes is. I always say that name wrong. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names. She disappeared. She disappeared August 7th from, I believe it was Selma, which is close to. Yeah, I do have the pics close to Fresno, and she was not seen. Adventures with a Purpose came out and searched Pine Lake, and they searched a couple lakes. She wasn't found. It was said there was last remaining footage of Jolissa when she left a convenience store around like whatever 4 something. Yeah, I can't even remember. Hey, Caddy, Texas. So Mama Bear. So she. Let me just kind of recap. So she went missing. There was convenience store footage of her leaving. She had called her brother and then went to get stuff from the convenience store and then went, obviously, this direction we know now, but she tried calling her sister around 5:30 or something like that, FaceTiming her sister twice, but her sister was sleeping and she didn't answer. And she had not been seen since August 7th. Today, because one of the police officers found evidence that there was a car accident out near Pine Lake. Now, Pine Lake is a place her family said that she would go when she needed to think and clear her head. Well, he found evidence of an accident, and lo and behold, it would seem something like 250 feet down a ravine by Pine Lake. They found her car. So we are going to listen, and obviously, we have a lot of Quinton information too. But let's listen to a little bit of the press conference. But I just want to share with you the shape of her car, which was pretty. It's just sad. Okay, I'm going to make sure it was showing. All right, so this is Jolissa. This is them pulling it out of the ravine. I do not know if she was in the car or what, or if she had been ejected or what, but yeah. Gosh, she didn't stand a chance surviving that. I mean, you can see how far down that was, y'all. Like, and you can also see why it wasn't easy to find. But I want you to notice, look at the road. So one thing that is the big thing is everybody, hey, Jingles, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. So one of the things that everybody, was like, well, because I've gone back and forth too, an accident, it doesn't really make sense because they are saying, at this point, nothing has been confirmed, but they are saying that, there's a lot of evidence that would lead them to believe it was an accident. She drove off the road. Her being out by Pine Lake isn't so, right, I know Sleuth Mom isn't so alarming because she did go there a lot to clear her head. And she had an argument at the party she had gone to that night before. I guess it was cleared up before she left, but regardless. But you can see why at 5 in the morning or something, if you've been up all night. Hey, Roadie Gal, those roads are brutal. All right, so let's listen to some of the press conference. Look at that, y'all. And what Sleuth Mom is talking about is there was a detective, I think that's it of these. Oh wow. Who went out one more time to look. Yeah. Gosh. We can go through all. Let's look at the press conference first. I know, and I know y'all. A lot of you have seen this, so we can move through it kind of quick. But for those that haven't, I think it's important to just listen to. Hey, Panthera. So I don't know that, Caddy, Texas. Sleuth, are you still here? Do you know whether or not she was found in the vehicle?
The missing person, Jolissa Fuentes, has been found in rural eastern Fresno County. This particular missing person case belongs to Selma Police Department. Up here on the dais, I have members of Jolissa's family as well as Chief Rudy Alvarez of the Selma Police Department.
Jolissa, okay, I've been saying it wrong.
We'll start off with Chief Alvarez talking about the case, recapping where it started, where it's gone since Jolissa went missing.
Oh, this is good. This is going to tell you where it started
this year. Chief Alvarez.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. Thank you all for being in attendance today. I first want to thank the Sheriff, the Sheriff's Department, Fresno Police Department, the FBI, Wrigley Police Department, the Sanger Police Department, and all the numerous agencies throughout this nation that helped us follow up on tips and leads as we navigated this investigation. So just to recap, Ms. Fuentes was reported as a missing person on August 8, 2022. Her family was extremely concerned that she did not come back home. She wasn't answering her phone, which was very uncommon for Ms. Fuentes. Once they reported this case, Ms. Fuentes was missing on August 8th. We began to write search warrants for cell phones, look at social media platforms in an attempt to locate Ms. Fuentes. After numerous search warrants and reviewing data over the last few months, we really did not see a lot of activity beyond the August 8th date. That being said, I would like to thank and I absolutely have to acknowledge the great work that the Fuentes family did in getting information out about their daughter across this nation. It was absolutely phenomenal, their reach and their ability to get that kind of information out in such a short amount of time. The numerous people, citizens that volunteered of their own time with their own resources to go out and search for Ms. Fuentes was huge. Very impressive how the community came together to try to bring Ms. Fuentes home. With that, we again didn't have much digital data to go on beyond August 8th, and we're following up on leads again across this nation, none to the success that we were looking for. Yesterday, we went back out to the Pine Flat area and were able to locate evidence that Ms. Fuentes was involved in a traffic collision and her vehicle went off the side of the road, off of Trim Springs Road, what I would describe as the northern part of Pine Flat Lake. At that time, we were able to come back and reconnect with the Sheriff's Office and the search and rescue team, who then went out last night till at least midnight and rappelled down a 250-foot cliff to recover Ms. Fuentes. So, again, this was a joint effort by all of our law enforcement agencies. Our investigators did a phenomenal job of researching tons and tons of digital data, trying to locate Ms. Fuentes. And we wish that we had better news and it wasn't such a sad time right now, if you will. I wish that we could have brought Ms. Fuentes home healthy. However, it appears that she passed during this collision.
Did she collide with someone, or did she just get a single car accident?
This would be a single car accident.
This was an area that was searched a lot, that Pine Flat Lake area. Why wasn't it found previously?
So it was searched, and again, hats off to search and rescue. If you've been out there and you've walked and actually gotten out of your vehicle and looked at this area, you're talking about a vast amount of geography with
So it
heavy
was searched
foliage,
before.
cliffs. Again, search and rescue was down 200 feet, and we couldn't even see them anymore, even with their flashlights. So they're down 200 feet, then they go down another cliff.
True
Beyond
Panthera.
that, there are really no remnants of the vehicle on the side of that hill where she was located. It was just a perfect storm. Someone couldn't try to hide a car better than that. It's just very unfortunate. And once we get
Hey,
pictures
Pamela.
of that area, it'll be very evident how something can get lost.
Well, I mean, we did just see the
Did
area.
she hit a rock or something, or she just misguided her car?
You know, I would imagine that, you know, to speculate, I think she'd been up all night and just fell asleep and was tired.
Question really quick before we continue on. Those just coming in, if you're here for Quinton, we are going to talk about his case in a little bit. I want to touch base on this because I know we've talked about Jolissa before. Quick question. I don't know if anyone knows this is in here. If there was alcohol in her system, does toxicology show up this far out? I'm just curious.
At the wrong place of the road in the bend, and then it's just an unfortunate accident.
You know, I will say that the Highway Patrol is investigating the actual traffic accident, so the recovery of the car, as well as investigating the area to see if they can come up with any additional information about the cause of the actual traffic accident. And I want to say something here. Chief Alvarez is a very humble man, and he won't say this about himself. He personally found the scene of the accident. He went up to the mountains yesterday on his own, researching areas that had already been searched, and on his own, he actually found the scene of the accident. I'll say, being a woman of faith, I think he was divinely channeled to that area, along with his police instinct. I think that it was meant to be that he be the one, because he's worked so very hard on this case for so long with the family, that he has literally put an end to the search for Jolissa. So hats off to Chief Alvarez. The city of Sun was very lucky to have him. His personal dedication, his police experience, and paying attention to his death was really important on putting him into this case. So with that, family, I'll introduce Jolissa's father, Joe. He's here to speak on behalf of the family.
Yes, my name is Jolissa Fuentes. I'm the father of Jolissa Fuentes. And first of all, I want to thank the community, not just the community, this whole nation. The cries and the war pain of my wife and my sisters and my family was heard around this whole country. They persistent. And when this first happened with my daughter, I talked to Chief Alvarez. I told him, man to man, I'm talking to you. You have a daughter, you have children. He told me, yes, I do, Jolie. I go, I want you to go after my daughter like she's your daughter, Chief. And you know what he told me? He goes, I promise you, Jolie. I promise you, I will find your daughter. At this time, we were hearing all kinds of stories. She was kidnapped, the cartels had her. There was so much stories out there, but he promised me he was going to find my daughter. He didn't tell me, he couldn't tell me when, but he was going to find her. And he was the one that found her. He was a man of his word. And he's a young chief in the city of Salma. He says he wants to change things around here. You know, it's a small town, but he wants to make a change for the better. And I thank God he's my hero. He is my hero. You know, and I know him for a while. But he was persistent, and his persistence paid off. Not only that, I know it was his love. And he went after her like he was hers. And once again, though, I thank all the community. I would thank the media. You kept my daughter out there. You kept her alive. You were her voice. And I'll forever know you guys for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So a little bit more about the area. That area is a good 60 miles, I would say, east of the city of Fresno. Back up on Trimmer Springs Road. As you know, the Pine Flat kind of runs east and west, but the rivers come in at the very east end of Pine Flat Lake, and it's right there where the Maxon Road and Trimmer Springs, where the vehicle was found. And the chief was right. It was when we got the call, search and rescue, they used a total of 475 feet of rope to rappel. Not only did they have the initial ledge that they had to rappel off of, but they came to another ledge at the end of that. They had to rappel again down to where the vehicle was. You could not see it from the lake. You could not see it from the road. Chief Alvarez found what he thought was the place where the car went off. He couldn't see the car from where he was, but we did send out some drones and discover it in very close range with the drone able to see the vehicle. So very difficult terrain. However, we were able to bring Jolissa home last night. Now the coroner's office will conduct a positive identification, but there's little doubt that we have found her. So with that, are there any questions?
Chief, you said you went up there again yesterday. So what did you see? How did you pinpoint where she went down the cliff?
You know, our staff, we put enormous amount of pressure on them. Their caseloads are huge.
Hey, Emily.
Search
Hey,
and rescue.
Panthera. I understand. I mean, everybody's entitled to what they believe.
Cases they've had this year. I've got a fresh set of eyes, a lot of police instinct, and
Hey, PJ's Wish.
faith and prayer. And
Hey,
I just
Beetle.
got lucky. Sometimes luck is all you need. I just got lucky. I tried to be very poignant with where I pulled over on the side of the road and kind of look for areas that if the car did go off the side of the road, that it would be highly likely that it would be masked with the foliage and the terrain. And the last area that I checked was the perfect area, and that's where we found the Fuentes. So I just got lucky.
Was this at a bend in the road?
It is exactly a bend in the road. At one of the probably higher points of the roadway that traverses through Pine Flat.
Do we think that the collision happened that Sunday night, early Monday morning? Sunday
Yes,
night?
absolutely. Yeah. And again, the CHP will be working with the family to compile more data from the vehicle itself as the Highway Patrol starts that portion of the investigation.
And is this close to where the cell phone tower is, where the pings were?
I don't have exact coordinates right now, so we'll again, like any case, we'll sit down, we'll debrief it, and determine, how we decipher the data.
The investigators know why she was in that area at that time.
It's my understanding that Ms. Fuentes really enjoyed the Pine Flat area, and anybody that goes up there, it's a beautiful place. It really is.
Okay, that's the part I have an issue with.
And I think at best bet, she just went for a drive.
It-
Kind of like what I did yesterday.
4 a.m.
Just want to go for a drive.
Chief, when you went to this last spot, what did you find? Any evidence on the side? Did you see anything when you were looking that might have put you to look down?
Just it's obviously the whole area is dried up right now. There's a lot of heavy brush. There were some tire tracks that
that must have been all the video just shut off. Question is the one the family had problems getting police to look at. I think so, PJ's wish. So look, we all have our opinions, and that's fine as long as we're good about it. But I think it probably was an accident, but I do have questions. I think she went out there for a purpose. I don't know what her purpose was. I mean, I understand that she liked to go out there and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't just like I mean, it's 4:00 in the morning. So it was 4:00 in the morning. She went out there, and I mean, I guess she could have just been going on a drive, but at the same time, I don't know. That obviously was a very, very tricky turn. So I guess she could have been going too fast. Who knows? I don't know. My understanding is that she liked to go out there, so she did know the road. But again, it was the middle of the night. I don't know. She had been up all night. She was at the party. I understand she wasn't drinking, but we do know, she, did do marijuana. That, I mean, it's going to alter you at some points. In some ways. So, I don't know. I do, I have questions. There's definite questions. But I do think at the end of the day, it probably was an accident and super unfortunate. I don't know. Adventures with a Purpose. So they just do water. So I'm sure they weren't looking anywhere on the lake. And Adventures with a Purpose, part of me wonders, I mean, they were coming flying high off Kylie's case. They had just found Kylie. They rushed right to Jolissa's case. I don't know. Maybe their mind was not there, but I don't think they would have found her because it definitely. But then my other question is, when did she go off the road? Because we know that she FaceTimed her sister 2 times around 5 a.m. and her sister was sleeping, obviously, and didn't answer. So, is she okay? Did she have the initial crash and called her sister for help? What? I don't know. I think that it's gonna be interesting in the upcoming days as some things are revealed and stuff. So I don't think you can follow this case and not have some form of questions. I just don't think. I think there's definitely things that are going to need answers. I don't know how deep they'll go, or if they'll just deem it immediately like an accident and that's it, cut and dry. But I mean, California Highway Patrol is now investigating Kylie's, accident, and now Jolissa's accident. So it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. There's not much else I can say. Then I think there are some things we need answers to, but there are things we might not ever get answers to. And at the end of the day, this could have just been where she was tired and she took the turn too fast. And that's it. But we'll definitely keep updated on that. Suits, I just saw you text me. I just haven't had a chance to read it yet. But so is there anything else about that? And again, look, no one has to believe that it was an accident at all. So, I mean, please don't feel bad about thinking it could have been something else or something weird happened. Like, hey, explore things. And yeah, like Amber says, there's some questions I have that I would like to know the answers to. And my biggest one is why she was out there. I just don't feel. I just don't understand. I don't what was it, 60 miles, 60 minutes, something like that. That after a night of being awake, she went to a convenience store and decided that she was going to head on out for a drive to Pine Lake. That's my biggest thing, is what happened, what made her go there. It's just my issue. So, all right. So, I keep this shit. Panthera, you're good. Sleuth doesn't ever take, yeah, no, she doesn't. All opinions are welcome. Yeah, all opinions are welcome. And like I said, we all have some questions. Yeah. So, anyways, I feel stuff going off front of me really bad. Okay. I think that's kind of all we can say about that right now, but we'll keep updated on that. Moving on to Quinton, which is becoming a train wreck for what was suspected. Y'all, so first of all, let me start with this. I'm trying to figure out how to say this so I don't get people mad at me. I do not blame Panthera. I do not blame Grandma necessarily. I don't blame Grandma, but here's the deal. I do have some issues, and I'll tell you why. As I went through her social media last night, before it was now it's completely locked down to like there's one picture, that's it. She was out of town more than she was in town. I mean, always out of town. She was, from what it looked like, a pipe welder and working like quality control or something like those lines. She worked nights. And I mean, she was in Illinois and Chicago a lot of the time, which makes me believe that when the kids weren't with a nanny, they were with mom, who was not supposed to have custody. You remember the story Jen told us last night, right? So my issue is when the court deems somebody not fit to have custody, there is a reason the court says that a person should not have custody. When I realized how much she was gone, I did start to say, okay, so did she get custody to beat the system? Did she get custody of those boys and go for custody of those kids so that mom could keep custody, if that makes sense, because mom lived there? I'm not saying that the kids would have been better off somewhere else, but she wasn't home. She wasn't home. Hey, Sandy, and the babysitter tried to intervene, and we found out tonight the babysitter did call DCFS as well as other people within the neighborhood. Exactly, Amber, exactly. Those kids, excuse me, the baby was just born June 5th. Those kids should not have been with her for any extended period of time, even if it's just overnight. I just don't think so. Yeah, Panthera. So we're about to watch a clip. So one thing, I don't know if you guys saw it today, but I'm sure everybody did. They did come out and say they found a critical piece of evidence that they believe, so do I, Toy, that they believe will push along this case. I think they have a pretty good idea. I also did not realize that Grandma, before locking down, okay, let's get two other things out here, all right? I agree with Toy, and I've said this several times. I believe mom enabled the situation. Panthera, mom enabled the situation at the expense of her grandkids. Sleuth mom. So Sleuth mom, allegedly they are with Leilani's aunt, is what I've heard, and that the aspiring artist Danny That's what Panthera calls him because he wants to be a rapper. He is in Atlanta. He dipped out. Peace out. He said basically, I think peace out, Leilani. I'm headed to Atlanta, and he's staying there. And to the best of my knowledge, his family is trying to get custody of their daughter Sky, I believe, or something like that. So he dipped right out. Allegedly, this is all allegedly, okay. He is actually in close communication with law enforcement, but you know, who knows? So yes, Sleuth Mom. So Grandma, so there was a couple of things. Grandma posted that people were pretty up in arms about. I think it was this morning or yesterday, late last night, about Cody is trying to get Zane. Okay, so Cody is, so what I didn't know is people are saying that Cody was Zane's dad and a guy by the name of Bubba, no joke, is Quinton's dad. Grandma posted something about she needed help with the pool. We all know that they just drained the pool, okay? So she needed help with the pool, of somebody to fix it or to give her direction on how to fix the pool herself. People were up in arms because it's not exactly something that we thought would be like necessity right now, I guess. Like late, I mean, Grandma, you didn't clean your pool for a really long time. I don't think, like, why are you cleaning it now? So some of that stuff is a little bit sketchy. Grandma also is said to have written this afternoon, right after law enforcement. Exactly, Emily. Yeah, I think I missed something. I want to make sure I got everybody. If I missed any questions, ask it again. She also put something about, let me see, let me get the exact phrase because it's important. Yeah, so Grandma said this afternoon, after right around the critical evidence phase, she put, finally, she could feel the calming, peaceful sunshine hitting my face. This is her words. And then she also said, seems there's, something about, and it said, so she did that this afternoon, okay, and she shared a message that she had posted years ago and stands true today. And it also said, seems there's always a storm before the calm in my life. Boy, let me tell you, it felt like a tornado was spinning everything at once. She wrote alongside interspersed emojis. Finally, I feel the calming, peaceful sunshine hitting my face. She added, those of you who stood with me, helped me through, man, y'all are amazing. I love y'all. You know the parts you've played in my life, no matter what we've been through. I love you. So that's a little bit concerning. Oh, really, Panthera? He passed a poly, which I mean we know can be here, but wow. So there was like two things that like, so I took that like, so does she know something? Has the FBI told her something? You know, like, we know where he is or something, but that's not a message that says like, well, they know where he is and he's passed away, if that makes sense. That would be something like that I would post if they know where he is and he's safe, and that wouldn't make sense. The other thing was that it was a little bit alarming because I felt like, is she going to do something crazy to herself? You know, because I don't know, that it's just a really, really bizarre message. And now everything is locked down completely. I mean, shut down completely. There's nothing but one picture. And to me, she sounds there like she's got some sort of like all is well now. And that's alarming. And I cannot imagine that they know where he is and they haven't gone and got him. Isn't it, Mama Bear? Oh, for sure. Yeah, Panther, absolutely. The FBI isn't letting him just casually chill out. So now we get to the other thing. We get to babysitter and mom having it out. And I know some people, I've seen some people are not crazy about the babysitter. But I hear in the babysitter's voice, so there's two clips I'm going to show. You clearly hear in the babysitter's voice absolute agony. And this is the question I missed. Mama Bear, that is true. And we hear that they're arguing. And I'm sorry, this case just really makes me upset. And the babysitter says to Grandma, I told you, and this is where her voice, you can tell, is just like so broken up. She's like, I told you about the bruises. And you know what Grandma says? I was trying to provide. Do you want to know what I think is happening? I think that enabled Mama, who hasn't spoke out, who hasn't acted like she gives two flying flips about where her kid is turning Grandma against the babysitter. That's all I can. Let's watch this. But it's something. Let me just tell you right now. But I felt you could absolutely hear the pain in the babysitter's voice. So this is just about 10 hours ago. It said Chatham County Police seized evidence. They said seized evidence we believe will help move this case forward. Excuse me. Investigators didn't tell us what the evidence is, only that it is being processed. So let's say that Grandma got a hold of whatever. Obviously, they probably told Grandma what the little piece of evidence was that they found. And so that was her prompt for the whole sunlight on my face, cryptic, crazy message. So this is one of the outbursts between Grandma and the babysitter.
I told you I was trying to provide. I even provided for you. You did. I told you I was trying to provide. I even provided for you. You did.
Right there. Right there. So here we go. This right here, y'all, that right there, that is Grandma admitting to me. That is Grandma admitting. We have to understand this. This is Grandma by Grandma coming back with her, she answered back to babysitter by saying, I was trying to provide. So again, Grandma was not home a lot. Grandma was not home a lot. And if you notice, Grandpa is kind of MIA right now. But what Diana is talking about, for anyone that doesn't know, was her and the neighbors saw. Yeah, you can hear it in the babysitter's voice. You could hear it. They saw Quinton and Zane playing in a ditch with no one outside. Yes, she did have to work. So she did absolutely have to work. And the sad part, so yes. So I'm not blaming Grandma necessarily for that. I do blame Mom because I do think Mom is in Grandma's ear. And I think that it's very hard because that is her daughter. So they're talking, and you know, what other option was there? The kids go in foster care, you know, because it's just super hard, especially if, I don't even know. It's just very hard. But I hate to see what's happening between the grandma and the babysitter happening right now, because I think that they both need each other, because I think that they're both brokenhearted. And I just really think Mom is in the background. I do. And, you know, I can't, as a mom, you know, like, she didn't want to give up on her kid, Leilani. I don't know. All right, let's watch. So this is the other outbreak fight they had that was caught on video. Hold on, I gotta get it up. I'm not sure who caught these videos, but sorry, we gotta go through this ad. How about I actually share it with you? Hang on, y'all. I didn't share it with you. Yeah. I know Yvette, and that who released that? This news station. I'd have to look at it again, but you're absolutely right, Yvette. You're absolutely right, Panthera. There's where my grace does end to a point, because the nanny would have kept them. She would have. Okay, let me pull this up here. The babysitter released that? All right, here we go.
Between two people connected to a missing 20-month-old.
Quinton Simon has not been seen since last Wednesday morning.
Quinton was last seen at the home where he lived with his mother, her boyfriend, siblings, and grandparents. The house is located on Burkhalter Road in West Chatham County.
Lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington has been breaking new details in the story since Quinton went missing. Brett is joining us live now tonight from Chatham County Police Headquarters with the entire video of the confrontation between Quinton's grandmother and a babysitter, as well as new information in this case.
And Tina, we've learned tonight from that babysitter that Quinton Simon was part of a Department of Family and Children's Services case. That babysitter told me she talked to DCFS, and so did other people in that neighborhood.
This is my baby, not yours.
This video is absolutely jarring.
Hit me. Hey, you think I would do that?
It shows the desperation of the people who love Quinton Simon.
You're awful to say you're going to put a memorial. My baby's not dead.
Quinton's grandmother in Quinton's babysitter's house. The intense moments recorded by Dana McCarta's daughter. Dana says Quinton's grandmother barged through her back door, mad over the thought of a memorial for the missing toddler.
My baby's not dead.
I think that she's trying to take the heat off of them.
Diana talking with us today, telling me she's called Georgia's Department of Family and Children's Services about Quinton and his siblings before.
DFACS told you there was a case.
Yes, absolutely.
Diana isn't the only neighbor here to tell us they were concerned about the children in this home.
I was afraid she was going to get hit.
We tried to get Billy Joe Howell's side of this story. She didn't answer her phone since yesterday, when federal investigators, firefighters, and Chatham police drained Quinton's grandparents' backyard pool. Grandmother Billy Joe Howell's Facebook had a post asking for help getting that pool fixed. It's been deleted.
I should not have been out of town. You did. You shouldn't have.
But the emotions in this neighborhood, they haven't gone anywhere.
I want to see your on the news. Oh, it's gonna be.
We learned from Chatham County Police today that they have evidence in this case, evidence that they believe will take them to the next step or break in the case. They didn't tell us what that evidence is. We do know that they have cell phone data and that they've collected evidence from Quinton's home, but we don't know what that cell phone data told them or what they took from that home. We are live tonight at Chatham County Police Headquarters. I'm Brett Buffington, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Well, look at you. They finally let you have a commercial, huh?
So she only wanted a prayer vigil. Okay, so because I can see grandma's side if she wanted a memorial, because, obviously, like, that would tweak me to wanting to keep hope. But if it was a prayer vigil, that's a little bit different. I don't necessarily know that grandma is trying to take the heat off of them. I mean, probably to a certain point, but I do think that grandma obviously has some misplaced anger. And it's just, I think that they're both very distraught right now over him missing, and they want him found. But the one who should have any sort of accountability right now is nowhere to be found. And yet again, y'all, who is out there cleaning up her mess? Her mom. So I hadn't seen, did y'all see the police report from the 7th? This is right from the 7th of September. That was right before she sent, this is what led to the filing of the eviction letter. So it says on Wednesday at 9/7/22, on 9/7/22 at approximately 16:07 hours, I think that's like 4:07 p.m., I responded to a call for a domestic dispute at 535 Buckhalter Road. Yeah, Seal. Well, that's what I mean, Seal. That's exactly what I mean. I just wonder, look, if mom can keep manipulating grandma, mom can keep, and maybe it wasn't mom, but I'm just saying, oh, absolutely, Yvette. I mean, she was told several times. But look, we have another case of DC, what is it, DCFS? Where were they? Like, where were they? Because they told these ladies more than just grandma, or they told these ladies more than just the babysitter that they had a case. One woman's on there crying because she thought the boys were going to get hit because they kept playing in a ditch. Did they ever come to the house? Did they ever visit? I believe grandma will catch a majority of just being, yes. Absolutely, Toy. Absolutely, Toy. And I think grandma's, and you're right, grandma has custody. It's her responsibility. She had custody. And she will take the heat. And I wish that she would let her daughter take some of the heat. So this is what happened on the 7th. So they responded around 4:07 to a domestic family dispute. Leilani said her and her mother had an altercation regarding some clothes that were in the wash. Now, if you remember, Leilani called this in, and Leilani said she called it in because she didn't want any trouble because she was on probation. Leilani said she removed her clothes so that her mother could use the washer. Leilani said that they had a disagreement verbally about how things were, and she said her mother got in her face and shoved her. Leilani said she hit a wall and felt that her elbow was red from the wall. Leilani said her 2 kids were around and said she called to put a stop to the issues between her and her mom, as she said she did not want her kids around that. Well, I mean, you could get a job, move out, and your kids aren't around it. It seems to me the babysitting others. I know, Mama Bear. Exactly, Panthera. Seal, I do agree with you there. I think she's brokenhearted. I think she's probably dealing with a massive amount of guilt. And there is also people going, is grandma going to be held in somewhat in responsible legally if something has happened to Quinton and mom doesn't have custody? Is there certain things within custody agreements, I don't really know, how those work, that they can't be alone for a certain amount of time, so there's all that kind of stuff is what, people are asking. And so I think, grandma and we know, and other people are going to attest that she was gone quite a bit with her job. I mean, pipe welders or pipe whatever. That kind of job is hardcore. So hats off to her. She also worked nights. Even more hats off to her. She just started, I believe, a new job working nights, not long ago. But exactly, Sleuth Mom. And yeah, Seal, she is torn. She loves her daughter. I think, like I said last night, when she told the nanny to keep the kids, she didn't want them back with Leilani. It was like 3 hours later that she called back and said, no, I want to believe the best of my daughter. I want my daughter to know that she can do anything she puts her mind to. It was like she still wanted to hold on to that one piece of hope that she would change. And, yeah, Seal, I believe she did have full custody. I know, Yvette. I know. It's so hard because on the other end of things, I wouldn't want the kids in foster care, but exactly, Mama Bear. But she claims that they spoke it. But I agree, Panther. CPS is on the hook too, because I don't see any evidence that they ever investigated at all. That they ever, and by now I would think that would be out, wouldn't it? I mean, one of the media sources would have gotten wind. You get multiple calls from CPS, you come out and investigate. So Leilani now has Leilani's elbow was red, but there was no sign of bruising. Okay. Anyways, so then the police officer goes on to say, I made contact with the mother identified as Billy Howell. Miss Howell said she was having issues with her daughter as she said she wanted to use her washer and it was in use. Miss Howell said she was frustrated as she takes care of the household and pays all the bills. Miss Howell said her daughter lives there, 2 kids, and the daughter's boyfriend. Miss Howell said she got in an argument with her daughter, Leilani, and said after her daughter screamed at the top of her lungs in her face, she shoved her. They have the kid count wrong because by September 7th, there was a 3rd kid. Seal, well, she wasn't supposed to keep them overnight. Grandma had ended up changing her mind and saying, no, Leilani wants to I want to let Leilani, whatever, do her thing. And I think she just wanted to prove herself. So then it says, Leilani said she was on probation and did not want the conflict to escalate and said that was why she called. Leilani said she did not want her mother to face charges. Leilani was advised she could go to court. She could go to the courthouse and attempt to get warrants taken out if she wished. Leilani said she understood. Warrant out for must be like, I guess her, for whatever, the shoving. Right, Amber. Yes. Grandma had told the nanny to go ahead and take the voice back. Miss Howell's son came to pick her up to remove her from the situation. So the son is the one son that's still out of jail. I guess the younger one. There's another son or one that she calls her son. I don't know if it's actually her son. But anyways, one of them, Miss Howell agreed to separate from the situation for some time to avoid conflict. Miss Howell said she may have to evict them. Miss Howell's son advised that his mother was tired as he said the daughter has a history of stealing from the mother and buying drugs with that money and says the problem goes back very far. Miss Howell left the scene with her son for at least a few days. Okay. So, yeah, right there, September 7th, domestic dispute is called. You know, if I'm grandma, let's be real. Grandma is exhausted, right? Exhausted with mom pulling this crap, stealing, all that kind of stuff. Probably was at her wit's end. But it said she left for a few days. So right there, I would assume see, this is what's confusing to me. She left with her son for a few days. She left the boys. I would assume she left the kids, right? Oh, okay, Panthera. Wouldn't police ask, well, who has custody? Like, it's wild to me. I need to see the custody agreement because this is wild to me with how much mom had these kids without having custody. I don't know the legal aspect of the custody agreement. However, grandma took on an oath. Yep, you're right, Toy. Yeah. And it doesn't say that she took the kids. It just said Miss Howell left the scene with her son for at least a few days. I don't know, guys. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Apparently the babysitter's daughter recorded that, but so that's at least a few days in the beginning of September. We know that she was alone. And, so a lot of people, though, failed Quinton. A lot of people. DCFS. Am I saying that right? Failed Quinton by not coming out and investigating that. And you know what? Somebody, if you find it, please let me know. If you find it that they did, please let me know. My answer is never to have kids in the foster system. But the police failed Quinton by going out there and grandma leaving for a few days and never even saying, well, what are you going to do to the kids? A lot of people failed Quinton. What the evidence is that police have that is apparently going, to push, that they believe is going to push this case along and that they're working on analyzing now, I would imagine, I'm going to guess tomorrow we know what that is. Grandma, from what, she posted earlier, I think it's safe to say that grandma believes he's going to be found and going to be found alive. What the evidence could be is the other thing. Are we to assume that maybe it came from... So the Erie Ferry, I cannot kind of grasp that. I don't know that whole situation. He was not there. Allegedly, he was out on work as well. I think they both have a similar job. I haven't heard from him since the first time. He was obviously very distraught the first time he came forward and spoke. Now, yes, absolutely, Panthera. He did say that that he has always been her biggest cheerleader, Leilani's, and that there was just things that he couldn't explain, and that he just said that she lies. She lies a lot, and he said he doesn't understand, but she just likes to lie. And then he kind of dipped out. We haven't heard from him since then. I don't know, Sally. That's true, Panthera. Parents fail, neighbors fail. Exactly. Like Jen said last night, see something, say something. And I believe the babysitter did and the neighbors did. I just felt when you hear the mom and grandma's reaction, I feel like I just want them both to break down in tears and hug because there's so much pain. I think I'm really glad you're here, the Erie Ferry. in both of their voices, and I think they need each other right now because I believe both of them truly love the boys. Granny was wrong for going in there. Granny was wrong for ever leaving the kids there. But I do believe she loves those kids, and I do believe that they need each other. And I feel like they both have a lot of pain. And I just hate to see that happen, I think. I wish that grandma would have listened to the babysitter and just and then, you know, Zane, okay, let's assume his dad. Zane's dad is Cody, right? Apparently Quinton has a different dad. Where was he? Like, where was he in all this? You know, so there's a lot of people that are at fault for that. I agree, Pamela. I think the babysitter feels guilty. I think grandma feels guilty because I both, you know, and I think they both love those boys. And trust me, you know, I'm frustrated with grandma, and there's a lot of things that I'm like, yeah, you really screwed up. But I'm also trying to be sensitive to the fact that her grandson is missing right now. But trust me, I know responsibility, you know, where that responsibility lies. And I do wonder if she got custody to keep so that her daughter could keep custody. Also, why do I keep doing that? I keep talking like it's because I'm trying like really like building up to my next sentence. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that. Because I'm trying to think as I talk, and you know I can't do both those things at once. And I just lost my train of thought. Crap, it was a good one too, y'all. I had like a really good thought, and it just like went away. Grandma. Yeah. Bummer, it was a really good one too. I'm sure it'll come back in the middle of the night and I'll be like, quick, go live. I've got to share my one good thought. And I mean, grandma did provide. They had a really good job. I mean, she has a good job, and I believe so does grandpa. Oh, like she took custody. Just, I think so, the Erie Fairy, because if you go based on just what I've seen on her Facebook post, I would say that before she shut it all down, I would say that grandma was gone more than she was home. I think that too. You bet. You know, it's hard to ever imagine your daughter could do something so absolutely terrible like that. And do I think that her daughter, like, Megan Boswell type thing, where it turns out the daughter did something like that? I don't necessarily think that's true, but I think there could have been some sort of an accident. Exactly, Toy. Yep. Exactly. There was one other. Because at first I thought, well, maybe. So this is what I thought at first when this first started. I thought the only option for this baby being safe, maybe boyfriend and mom had some sort of a. Sorry. Can I use your phone charger for the night, please? 1 second. Sorry. Sorry, she needed a phone charger. My sister-in-law put her youngest situation really good. Yeah, Amber, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, the Erie Fairy, that is highly possible too. Oh wow, Amber. The other thing I thought of maybe at the beginning is we know they wanted to do whatever they could for money. So I thought, well, maybe it's some sort of ploy, right? Maybe the baby's safe and they're doing this for a GoFundMe or that kind of stuff. But I think that would have been found out pretty quickly. The fact, if it's true that the boyfriend passed a polygraph, I mean, I guess those, I don't know. I haven't heard, that those are super great, but I don't know, y'all. It's bizarre. I don't know what they have that grandma thinks that the sun is hitting her face and that this is pretty much all over based on what she put earlier. But it definitely didn't sound like she thought he was passed or anything like that. That's possible too, the Erie Fairy. I do, Amber. I think that some parents allow themselves to be manipulated into enabling the adult child. Absolutely, Amber. And I think Debbie Collier, I don't know if that's how you say her last name, I never get names right, did that with her daughter. That's another good point, the Erie Fairy. And the other thing that I keep going back to is 3 bedrooms. 3 bedrooms for how many people lived in that house. A kid doesn't go missing out of a 3-bedroom home with like 7 people in that house. Yes, grandma and grandpa were gone then, but the Quinton probably was in a room with either his brother or, in with his parents. I would assume in with his parents. So, yeah, I don't buy it. I know. I keep going back, Amber, because, I didn't think Megan Boswell's was intentional either. And that was about as intentional and horrific as they come. And they did text the sitter and say that they don't need her. And with no reason, from my understanding, unless y'all have heard that there was a reason. But I don't know that they ever gave the babysitter a reason. But it's just a sad situation. But I'm hoping that tomorrow we have some sort of direction, and it did say that the evidence that they're analyzing, there'll be no other public statement by the Chatham Police Department, which tells me the next time we hear from them is going to be either that evidence led nowhere or here's what's happening. Hey, Kellyanne. But that fight that happened between grandma and babysitter, that's not helping anybody. And you can't deny that grandma busted into that house. The babysitter was sitting there. So it's just a terrible situation. But she's heated. What are your thoughts, y'all? What do you think happened? Give me your thoughts. Now, I like to make sure we all get our thoughts out here before before I end. I want to know, what do you guys think for this particular situation? What do you, let's do this. Do you think that he's alive? And do you think that, oh, no problem. Glad you're back, Mama Bear. Do you think that he's alive? And what do you think happened? Who do you think, did somebody take him? Do they know where he is? Yeah, exactly, Toy. Exactly. The grief grandma and the guilt she feels and even Seal said and stuff, and we were talking about it is highly possible if something happened to that baby that grandma's going to be held responsible, like a neglect type thing. True, Amber. Used to sit back and watch him be abused. Oh my gosh. You bet. Yeah. For sure, Sally. Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if he's alive. And the only way that he would be alive, I think, is if that was some sort of I just don't think somebody could come in that house and take him. And police, like police don't even buy it, I don't think. I don't know if I trust what they say, so I feel comfortable with saying that his last known sighting was absolutely the Erie Ferry. Yep, and Panthera has said that before and reminds me that the last we know of seeing him is the babysitter. And you guys helped me think through things yesterday too, because I was trying to think, well, why Quinton, right? Why Quinton? There's 3 kids. But then when Punkat and Amber had pointed out, and I think it was y'all too, that there's 3 different dads, there could be some bitterness towards the one dad, but it definitely seemed that the one that had bruises and the ones that, the one that he tended to get some of the worst. What is wrong with my talking tonight? Sorry, y'all. Was Quinton. The kids playing in a ditch by themselves is wild. Guys, we're talking about a 3-year-old and a 20-month-old child playing in a ditch outside of the house by themselves. That is insane. That's right, Amber. That's it. That is really good too. Postpartum depression. Yep. So I think so, Toy. Me too, Mama Bear. Amanda, wow, Amanda, you just read my that is so weird, because I was just literally thinking about you as you typed that. I was just thinking, oh, Amanda. I was thinking Lucian popped in my head and then you popped in. That's really weird. I know, PJ's wish. That's true, Amber. If she was still doing drugs and she was I know, right, Amanda? And she was, then yeah, there's a high possibility. I mean, everything would be out of whack. Heck, I got my, I'm hormonal right now. It is, Kellyanne. It is. And isn't it worse a lot of times for women that have had babies so close together? It's just really hard because these kids that are going missing, Quentin's going missing. Lucian, Amanda, is there any, Amanda lives in Yakima. Is there any sign of him there? Is there any searching going on anymore? Anything for that baby? At all? No updates? That's so terrible. He just passed his birthday, guys. He just passed what would have been his birthday. 5th birthday. 5th birthday for Lucian. And that baby is gone. What was it? It's been a month now. So finally a reward was posted. Yep. Finally a reward was posted. Exactly, Yvette. I mean, 20 months is the time where they're into everything, where they'll put anything in their mouth. They're into everything. They absolutely have no fear. You do, Amanda? I'm glad you talked to Mom. Email me, Amanda. Obviously, I would never come on here with anything confidential. That's crazy. Mine was spaced, but that baby and I are super close now. I got help from the jump. That's awesome, Kellyanne. Good for you. Yeah, postpartum depression, it is an awful thing that women go through. And a lot of times it gets overlooked. No, I completely understand, Amanda. And you don't even have to share, details or anything, but that's awesome, Kellyanne. It often gets overshadowed because of, there's a newborn baby, right? And you got to keep going when you have kids. You just got to keep going. And if you self-medicate with drugs or whatever, and she obviously even her own brother says she has a problem with stealing and buying drugs with it and stuff. Do we know where brother was in this whole situation? Because I haven't heard that at all yet. And I'm just curious because we have not heard, at least I haven't, where he was during this. Exactly. Oh, and Amanda, as far as Lucien, I kind of backed away from, yeah, like, I think if the family was super involved, we would have known by now. So I think that there's some other crazy things in that situation. So I look forward to talking to you. But yes, definitely don't have to say too much. They can, Yvette. They can. Hormones, being tired, and then you know, like, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think he's alive. But for some reason, it seems that Grandma does. So let's hope he is. Let's hope that it was some fluke or somebody has him or something along those lines. But I think we're going to find out tomorrow. We're going to find out something, I believe, tomorrow. Because I can guarantee whatever evidence that they're analyzing, there's a rush on it. So, anyways, we all just need to pray that the babysitter and the grandma can just kind of, you know, chill. I heard somebody was in jail for Red Rum, but I don't remember exactly who it was. Really? The Erie Fairy? Wow. I know, Kellyanne. There's just so many kids just not being found, and it's awful. And I know, you know, there's so many people that are so still that, you know, went hard with Summer Wells that still haven't, you know, following that case and stuff. Some creators, and it just, she's still not found, you know? Erie Fairy, that's not a bad. Oh yes, Granny's son was yep, it's the son that Quinton is named after. Quinton. Yeah. It was Quinton, the one that the baby is named after. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say mom could have been overwhelmed with having 303. I agree, Toy. I agree. Yeah. And mom didn't have a license. She didn't, you know, I would assume she didn't have a car or. Wait, are we talking about this case? What is Red Rum? Wait a minute. I'm so confused. I thought we were like. Mean? Nah. Yeah, I'm so confused. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh my gosh, yes. Like, what's Thank you, Erie Fairy. Yes, it is the kid quiz. I'm like, what? You too, PJ's Wish. Yeah. Takes me a while. Sally, yeah, we're all like, what's that? Now I get it. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna hop off and I'm gonna do some research. If you find anything, for sure, reach out to me, and we will keep up to date. Prayers for Jolissa's family. No, that's actually, thank you, Erie Fairy. Thank you for doing that, and now I'll keep it in mind. But yeah, if anybody hears anything, thank you, Amanda. Yes, email me. And Sleuth Mom said she was thinking about doing a panel on Quinton, and so we'll probably do that here at some point then. Thanks, guys. You all are awesome, and hopefully we find Quinton soon. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.